Ever heard of the man who tried to sue the entire internet for using clickable buttons? It sounds like a joke, right? But this story is very real, and it peels back the curtain on one of the most bizarre and frustrating corners of the business world, the patent troll. Imagine this. You have a brilliant idea for a new app. You spend months, maybe even years, coding, designing, and pouring your heart and soul into it. You launch it, and people love it. It's taking off. Then one day, you get a letter. It's from a company you've never heard of, and it says you're infringing on their patent. The patent is for something incredibly vague, like ordering food via a screen or sharing photos with friends online. You look at the letter, confused. Isn't that just ... how apps work? Welcome to the world of patent trolls. These aren't inventors in the traditional sense. They're not building the next revolutionary gadget in their garage. Instead, they operate on a very different business model. It's a four-step process that's both simple and, for many, deeply infuriating. Step 1. Find a loophole. The patent system is designed to protect genuine inventions, to give creators a fair shot at profiting from their hard work. But it's a complex system, and sometimes patents are granted for ideas that are incredibly broad or obvious. A patent troll's specialty is acquiring these kinds of patents. They might buy them from struggling companies, or they might file for them themselves, using intentionally vague language to cover as much ground as possible. Think of a patent for using a wheeled device for transportation. Under that logic, anyone making a car, a skateboard, or even a rolling suitcase could technically be infringing. That's the kind of breadth they aim for. Let's take a real-life example. A company called Lodsys started sending out letters to small app developers. Their claim? They owned the patent for in-app purchases. If your little mobile game had a button that let users buy extra lives or new skins, Lodsys wanted a piece of the action. This sent a shockwave through the developer community. These weren't massive corporations. They were often one or two people working out of their basements. They didn't have legal teams on standby. This brings us to step 2 of the patent troll playbook. Wait. They don't jump on the first person who uses their patented idea. That would be small time. Instead, they lie in wait. They watch as a technology or a feature becomes popular, becomes an industry standard. They let thousands of businesses, big and small, incorporate this feature into their products. The more widespread it is, the bigger the potential payday. They let the market do all the hard work for them, creating a massive pool of potential targets. It's like planting a single seed and waiting for an entire forest to grow, a forest you now claim to own. Once the technology is everywhere, it's time for step 3, the shakedown. This is where the letters start flying. They send out demand letters to hundreds, sometimes thousands of companies at once. The letters are often intimidating, filled with legal jargon, and they all say the same thing. You are using our patented technology. Pay us a licensing fee, or we will sue you for patent infringement. The fee they demand is often cleverly calculated. It's not a ridiculously high number that would be laughed out of court. Instead, it's a specific, painful amount. It's just low enough that for a small business, paying the settlement is cheaper than fighting the case in court. Let's break down the math. A full-blown patent lawsuit can cost millions of dollars in legal fees and can drag on for years. It's a massive drain on time, money, and resources. So the patent troll comes in and says, look, you can spend $2 million fighting us, and you might lose. Or you can just pay us $50,000 right now, and we'll go away. For a startup that's barely keeping the lights on, what choice do they have? They're caught in a classic catch-22. They know the patent is probably bogus, but they can't afford the fight to prove it. It's a business decision, not a moral one. They pay the troll toll and try to move on. This is the core of the strategy. They're not trying to win in court. They're trying to avoid court altogether. Their business model is built on settlements. If they send out 1,000 letters and demand $50,000 from each, they don't need everyone to pay. If just 10% of those companies decide to settle, that's $5 million. Not bad for a day's work of sending emails. And finally, step 4, retire on the profits. The most successful patent trolls have made hundreds of millions, even billions of dollars through this method. They accumulate vast portfolios of these vague patents and essentially tax entire industries. One notorious company, Intellectual Ventures, was co-founded by a former Microsoft executive and reportedly held tens of thousands of patents. They weren't making products. They were making legal threats. They became one of the most feared entities in Silicon Valley, suing a huge range of companies for using basic technologies like Wi-Fi networking or online document scanning. So, what about that guy who sued over clickable buttons? His name was Michael R.F. Wondrusek, and his company, named WebActive, held a patent for apparatus and method for providing a user interface to a remote computer system. The claim was that they had patented the idea of having active elements, like buttons or links, within a web browser that would do something when you clicked them. Yes, you heard that right. They essentially claimed to own the concept of a hyperlink. In the late 90s, they started sending out letters to countless companies, big and small, demanding a license fee. It was so audacious that it became legendary. Eventually, the patent was invalidated after a long legal battle, but not before causing immense stress and cost for many businesses. You might be thinking, isn't there anything we can do about this? The good news is, yes. There's been a growing push for patent reform. Courts have started to take a harder line on overly broad and abstract patents. Landmark Supreme Court decisions have made it more difficult to get and enforce these kinds of patents, especially for software. Additionally, some big tech companies have banded together to fight back, pooling their resources to challenge weak patents and defend smaller companies that are being targeted. Organizations have been formed specifically to invalidate bad patents before they can be used for extortion. But the problem isn't completely solved. Patent trolls are adaptable. They find new loopholes, new strategies. The fundamental tension remains. How do we protect genuine inventors without letting the system be abused by those who just want to collect a toll on innovation? It's a story about how a system designed to encourage creativity can be twisted into a tool that stifles it. It's a reminder that sometimes the biggest threats to a new idea don't come from competitors, but from a letter in the mail demanding a fee for something you thought was just common sense. The world of patent trolls is a shadowy, complex place, but understanding it is crucial for anyone interested in technology, business, or the very nature of invention itself. Thank you for watching. If you found this dive into the world of patent trolls interesting, make sure to like this video and subscribe for more deep dives into the hidden stories of our digital world. Let me know in the comments if you've ever heard of or encountered a situation like this. See you next time.